Hello, hello. I am just about 45 seconds early because I want to make sure that this stream is working and we have no issues. So again, I'm about 30 seconds early. Do you guys see me? Let me know. Zeph, do you see me? Hello! All right, it looks like I'm live. Welcome to Let's Get Witchy. I am your host, Zoe Sol. You guys, I'm super excited because this is my very first show over at Psychic Fixes. And I got a lot of fun stuff in store for this hour. We are going to talk about witchy stuff in the beginning, and then I'm going to head into some Q&A with you all. Then I'm going to give some free readings. And then at the very end, I have a really special giveaway. So please be sure to stick around till the end so that you can get in that giveaway. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about why I'm doing this. And the truth is that I've been practicing witchcraft for, oh my goodness. Oh, I am old. Probably like a little over 15 years now. And I love it. I love sharing it. I love teaching it. And funny enough, my husband had been bugging me for a really long time to start a weekly show like this. And then I hooked up and got a reading with my dear friend Debbie over at Psychic Fixes. And during our reading, she just kind of offhandedly mentioned that there was a slot at Psychic Fixes for a weekly show. And I started thinking about that. So then I reached out to her. And she said, yes, she would love to have me. So a big shout out to Psychic Fixes. Thank you so much for having me here. I am super excited to bring a little bit of magic and a little bit of witchiness to your channel. So big shout out to Psychic Fixes for hosting me. Please, you guys, go and support them. Go give their page a like and subscribe and do all the good things because we all want to support each other. And she is just a great, great human being supporting a lot of local practitioners in the community. So I just want to go ahead and say hello to some people. Hello, Kate, Rhonda, Zeph, Daly, Kimmy, and Elisa, and I'm sure we'll be coming on shortly. So today we are going to talk about witchcraft and how do you know if it's the right path for you. I want to share a little bit about my own personal history with all of you so that you kind of know how I began to embark on this path for myself. And then you can kind of get an idea of if you think that this is a good path for you. Then we are going to segue and talk about the phenomenon of otherkin. And this inspiration actually came to me. I was on Psychic Fixes on Monday, and I was being interviewed by Debbie, and I got a question about otherkin, and I totally botched the question, you guys. I gave the wrong information, and I feel terrible and silly because I actually identify as an otherkin. So, how could I mess that up? But I messed it up. Just goes to show we all make mistakes. It's fine. I am going to correct all of that today and go in more depth about that. But before I do, let me go ahead and just kind of talk about how do you know if witchcraft is right for you. So I have a few ideas on this, and please know that as I talk about this, really it is, this is my personal list. These are the things that really stand out to me about the craft and the things that I love about the craft. Now, I am totally biased because obviously I'm a witch and I love being a witch, but I gotta say, I love the aesthetic. I love all of the organic, nature-based, whimsical, fantastical elements of being a witch and practicing the craft. So that aside from how cool it looks, and again, I know that I'm biased, let's talk about like the deeper stuff. So first off, if you are wondering whether or not witchcraft is right for you, then it's likely you've had some kind of inner calling, some kind of inner inner attraction or draw towards it. And that right there is your first indication that maybe this might be a path for you. And I have found that generally when people are feeling pulled and drawn towards the craft, it's not very long before they start diving in and learning more about it. And then we've turned one. Just kidding. No, but really, you guys, being a witch is a lot of fun. And I think that one of the most important aspects to me and what I've seen for people that are on this path that are doing really beautiful work with it is that you really have to take personal responsibility. Witchcraft is really a lot, at least for me and some of the closest people to me, it's really about owning your person and really getting to know yourself on a very intimate level and not being afraid to face all of the stuff. And I'm going to go into that just a little deeper in a second here, but basically it is a path of personal development. So beyond just like, oh, I created this pretty little altar and I'm wearing witchy clothing and like I've got tools and it's fun. As you dive deeper into it, and if you are really on this path for the right reasons, your soul is going to grow. And one of the things that I absolutely love about witchcraft is that it embraces the light and the dark. I consider myself a gray witch. And what I mean by that is that all of us have these two sides to us. All of us have light and we have shadow. And oftentimes I grew up Catholic, and a lot of times in the Abrahamic traditions, there is a lot of emphasis placed on the light and there's a lot of shame placed on the shadow. And it's sort of like, your inner demons are bad and you want to shame them, you want to suppress them, you don't want to look at them. But what I have found is that with witchcraft, it's really about embracing both. And it's not that you get like a free pass to let your shadow self run wild and like give into your demons. It's more that rather than shame that part of you, it's more about looking at it without any kind of shame or even hesitation, but really having a look in the mirror and uncovering who you are and knowing that the darkness has something to teach. So when I say that I'm a gray witch, it means that I work in the light and the dark. I work in the shadow and in the sun because, again, I feel like they both have something to teach. And that is something that, being on this path, you will likely come to discover on your own, is that those parts of yourself that you may have been ashamed of actually have gifts. And when you can get to know those parts of yourself and embrace them, you become a fuller human being, and your spirit and your soul, it becomes fully embodied. So there is that. Another thing that I would say is that, the other thing about being a witch is that we tend to, or we do revere the earth. We revere the earth very, very deeply. And it is a earth-based religion for the most part. I do identify as pagan. And so it is really about acknowledging that the earth is alive and it has a consciousness, and that living in harmony and having respect for the earth is a huge part of it. And so if you feel like you are somebody who loves the earth and loves the planet, but not only that, you actually can sense and tune into the energy of the different elements of, like when you walk into a forest, you can feel the energy, you can feel the soul of a place. That is also a good indication that you, my friend, might be a witch. So those are just a few of the things that, I want to share with you. And if you're feeling any of those things, I would say just dive in and start to explore. It is such a rich, beautiful practice. And I'm so happy to be here because every week I am going to cover something about the craft, whether it's how to set up an altar, whether it's covering the directions, whatever it is. So I've talked about that, and now I want to segue into talking a little bit about Otherkin. Woo, I'm super excited for this. So before I go and talk about, oh, Sunshine Alexander, hello. You said shadow work. Yes, absolutely, 100,000%. Shadow work is where it's at. In fact, I do want to just mention briefly that in the fall, I actually run with my business partner, Fred. We run a course called Persephone's Hollow, and it is all shadow work. And we actually use the goddess Persephone to guide us into that shadow work. It's a really powerful course. So in the fall, be on the lookout for that if that's some work that you are interested in. Shadow work is powerful. So, Otherkin. Sorry, guys. I'm a big old dork, and so you all better get used to that because that's me. I have spent a chunk of my life trying to be way too cool, and I gave up on that because that's boring. So I am instead going to be my crazy, wacky, zany self in all my glory. So here I am. Let's talk about Otherkin. So Otherkin, what the heck is that? Well, I butchered this question on Monday during my interview. Somebody brought up the concept of Otherkin, and for whatever reason, in my mind at the time, we were talking about the Fae, and I associated Otherkin with fairies. Now, it's not totally way off because what Otherkin actually are is they are people that do not identify as fully human. They are people who identify as mystical or other species. That can be, that can be animals. They might identify, there's a cat man that identifies as a cat. They might identify as a vampire or a fairy or something other than human. Now, some of them might identify as human and the other species, and some of them identify as fully only that. I identify personally as a human fairy, and I'm going to talk about that shortly. But it is really interesting because when they asked this question, I started talking about Fae, and I totally neglected to actually say and talk about what Otherkin are. And I left the show going, something is off. I missed something. And I looked it up online, and I smacked my forehead. I was like, what the heck? Oy vey, I am an Otherkin. How could I miss this? So I want to talk about this because, oh, hi, RHZ Patty. You're asking how to close a portal, and are Otherkin the ones that appear as flashes of light in the forest? I'll talk to you about how to close a portal later in our Q&A section right after this, okay? But Otherkins can appear as flashes of light in the forest. That can be a form of Otherkin. But as I was just saying, basically Otherkin are they are manifested in human form, so they look like you and I, but underneath and behind that, they may identify on a soul level as another species. They could also identify as aliens or angels. So really there's no limit on how they identify. Now, I do identify as Fae, and it took me a very long time to be able to say that. I always had an inkling that that I was different. From a very early age, when I was a young child, I was able to communicate with fairies. I do channel. I offer fairy readings where I channel the Fae, but I also, I sing and I channel the Fae through that too. So I am channeling that energy, but I also know that a big part of my soul's essence is fairy. And rather than hide that or feel silly about it, I have, at 39 years old, come to fully embrace it because life is short and I don't want to live as something that I am not. So I really think that if you feel like you identify as something other than only human, and you'll know if you do, you'll have that internal feeling. You may want to explore that. And if you know in your heart and your soul that you actually are that, well then, like, life is short, embrace it. And we are moving into a world now where that is becoming more and more accepted. And I have some thoughts on that I'm going to talk about in just a moment. Oh, okay. Just wanted to check on the questions. So you guys have my computer here, and then I'll be talking to you here, and then looking at the computer here. So I'll be doing this. So here are my thoughts. I believe that every mystical being, or not so mystical being, depending on your beliefs, has an energy to it. They have an energy imprint. And so an angel feels very different and has a very specific soul signature than a fairy, than an alien, than a tiger, right? Like they all have like a soul signature is what I would call it. And it's their soul, it resonates at a certain vibration. There are certain physical things sometimes that manifest. For example, my partner identifies as a vampire, and she actually needs to feed. And maybe I'll have her on one of these days, and we can talk a little bit about that. She identifies as a vamp fae, which is a very interesting combination, but we can go into that with her. And as a fairy, I definitely have a lot of the traits of, people have said I'm a siren, and I am a singer, but I have this, like, how do I describe it? It's so hard to put it into words. It's sort of like, there's a part of me that feels very human, but then there's a part of me that just knows intuitively that I'm connected to another realm, and that is the fairy realm. There's a part of me that just feels that and knows that, and it's sort of like the two essences mingle together, but they feel very different. And that is the best way that I can put it. And I think that this is a phenomenon that I'm starting to notice more and more. I can remember when I was little, growing up, my mother would watch those terrible talk shows like, Jenny Jones and Jerry Springer and all of that. And I remember watching one time they had vampires on, and they were talking about being vampires and like actually identifying as vampires. And I remember watching that, and my mind was just blown open, like, wow, there are people that are actually vampires. How can that be? And yet it felt true. And then as I've aged, I've noticed that more and more I have come across people that identify this way. But like I said, I've also come across people that identify as fairies. And I have come across people that identify as aliens. I've come across people that identify as dragons. And I think that what's happening here is that you've got these archetypes, and we are in this really interesting place in our planet where I feel like humanity as a whole is evolving, but we're not evolving like in the physical way so much as like, oh, we're getting bigger heads and like smaller bodies, or it's not that. I feel what's actually happening is that it's a soul evolution, and people are expanding their consciousness. People's vibrations are changing and shifting. And part of what that looks like it's a merging of the human essence, the human soul signature with these other energies coming in. So why on earth would a fairy want to merge with a human essence to manifest in physical form? Or why on earth would a vampire want to do that? Or why on earth would an alien or an angel or any of those want to do that? Well, I think, and this is all just my own theory, but I really do believe that what is happening is that as a human species, our planet is so precious, and we don't have the best track record. We just don't. We are really kind of at a crisis point with global warming, with all of these things happening on the earth. And so I think that these other entities are starting to step in and take manifest form so that we can start to propel the positive shifts that we need to see in our environment, so that we can see the continuation of the planet and of the species. But also, I believe that, you know, part of this evolution is so that we can expand beyond our planet and start to really become not only like a global species, but an intergalactic one. So, if you don't think I'm crazy and you're following me, yay. If you think I'm nuts and you want to leave now, that's totally cool too. I won't blame you. I will not take offense. But this is, you know, this is something that I've thought a lot about, and I'm seeing this kind of play out in communities around me. So you know, if you are wondering whether or not you are an otherkin, start to pay attention to what you think you might be, how you think you might identify, and then just start to do a little research. You never know. You may be surprised. All right. So, everybody. Oh, hi, Laura. Hello, Blair. It is so good to see you guys here. Let's go ahead. We've only got an hour. So I went ahead and talked about, you know, kind of witchcraft and otherkin. I want to go ahead and answer some questions. So go ahead and pop your questions in the comments and I will answer them. I did have a question earlier from, did they leave? Oh, no. How do you close a portal? RHZ Patty was asking, how do you close a portal? Now, so I do have a clarifying question on that. I'm wondering, I just want to know a few more details about that. If it's a really large portal and it feels really big, that's one thing. But if it's like a small portal, honestly, what I do is I will actually, so when I open a portal, I will move my hands in a counterclockwise, kind of opening up the vortex, and I will actually visualize and imagine as I'm doing it, I'm creating a portal, but I'll visualize and imagine this spiraling energy that opens up a doorway. And then I do the opposite to close it. So I will take my hand and go clockwise and just move it and imagine that that portal is spinning and closing shut. So it does kind of like a spinning and closing, and you just keep going. You keep going until you feel that shut happen. So that is the way that I do it. Once that's done, then I would take some sage or Palo Santo. If you don't use sage or Palo Santo, there are other methods of cleansing. Juniper's a really good one. Or even, I always tell people, save your Christmas trees because you can burn the branches and that is extremely clearing. And then I would just clear the space. And depending on what the portal is, you might want to put a protection ward there. And it can be as simple as, you know, drawing a sigil in the air. The sigil that I use is I actually do a cross and then I circle the cross. And for me, as a witch, that represents the 4 directions, the 4 elements: north, south, east, west, earth, wind, fire, water, coming together to create watchtowers around it. And then the circle is the encompassing, we're closing it, we're sealing it. So that is how I would close. Oh, a star-shaped portal. Interesting. So I would say, so our RHC Patty is saying that it's a star-shaped portal. I would say that depending on how big it is, you can probably do the same thing. It should work. That's my technique. If it's not working, then I have questions. So is this a portal that you or someone you know opened, or is this a portal that you came upon that was already opened? And where is the location of this portal? Those are my 2 questions, just to get a little more clarity. And then let's go into our otherkins. Oh, I did answer that. Our otherkins, the ones that appear as flashes of light in the forest. So I'm going to wait for RHC Patty to, okay, so you opened it. All right, so if you opened it, you should be able to close it and basically do the technique that I mentioned and just go ahead and take the energy and just, you know, you can spin it in a clockwise direction, visualizing and pulling, and you can actually feel it, like you can feel it beginning to shut. If it is feeling, oh, next to Druid, it is in rectangle. How big is it? RHZ Patty. Next to the Druid Forest. Okay. So I'm curious how big this portal is. By the way, you guys, during this little section here, before we dive into readings, I do want to let you know that it is an Ask Anything. So all questions are up for grabs. It can be a question like this, what RHC Patty is asking about the portal, or it can be like, what did you eat for dinner? Or I have this situation, what do you think? Literally anything, all is up for grabs. It can be a question about me, it can be a question about you and your life, it can be a question about witchcraft, it can be, I don't care. I am open to answer them. So, okay, so you were saying it's 5 by 5 and it's above in the air. All right, that should work. You can do that. Also, if you have a wand, that can be a very powerful tool to close it. You can use if you don't have a wand, you can actually get a long piece of selenite and do that gesture. And again, you'll feel it. You'll really feel it. Now, if you have other people that want to partake in this, they can help you. Just make sure that you guys are all going in the same direction, okay? And really feel and sync up together to feel that energy. But that should work. I don't see why that wouldn't work. With energy coming down to the earth, as above, so below. You're so welcome, RHC Patty. Let me know how that goes for you. I would love to hear how it goes. All righty. Now we're going to move into card readings. All right, everybody, this is the time that I stop and I start answering your questions and giving you readings using my amazing Brian Froud Oracle deck. So if any of you would like a reading, please, yep, that's exactly right. Thank you, Kate. I will go ahead and pull a card for you. Just leave a comment and I will pull a card. Now, if you have a specific question, let me know what the question is and I will pull a card on that. If you don't have a specific question, that's fine. I will just pull a general card for what you need to know in the moment. All right? Yes, Daily South, Brian Froud. Brian Froud, by the way, is like my all-time favorite. I am obsessed with him. He is amazing. I'm going to move my little card camera here. And let's see. Oop. Okay, there we go. Now they are side by side. All right, Kate, let's go. And by the way, you guys, if I don't get to you and I don't get a reading done today, please come back next week because I'm doing this every week and I will pull a card for you. Boop, boop, boop. Kate, Kate, Kate. What do we have to say for Kate, Kate, Kate? Ooh, Kate. All right. Kate, you pulled the Magician card. The Magician card is basically saying there's a lot of magic and a lot of energy around you. But here we've got this like fierce, powerful, badass magician. And she is holding like an orb in her hand. And it's basically you are standing right now in a position of power. And this powerful position is basically stating that right now is an excellent time for you to really take charge. And let me see if I can lower that so you can see it a little better. Here we go. Okay. But right now is a really good time for you to take charge. And she's got all of these cards all around her, and you can see that they're kind of flying everywhere, and it looks chaotic, but it's not. If you look at her face, she is in full control. And basically what this card is saying is that even if it feels right now like your life is a little chaotic and scattered, the card is basically telling you, if it feels like that, that is an illusion. The truth and the reality is that you're actually more in control than you think you are. And so right now, what Spirit is asking you to do is to really ground into your power as a manifester and grab that metaphorical orb by the balls and, you know, and make a decision about your life and the direction that you want to go, because this is a very powerful card, and fate is in your favor, my dear. All right. Who do we got next? Annalisa, absolutely. Oh, and then Blair. Actually, Blair was before Annalisa, so I'm going to go with Blair, and then we're going to Annalisa. Here we go. Blair, what do we got? What do we got, my dear? Ooh, Blair. I love this card. This card is the hidden one. The hidden one is all about taking time to go into a cocoon and go under the ground so that you can grow your roots and grow your wings. Here we've got this beautiful fae here, and if you notice, her wings are actually roots. And so what this tells me is that for you, your power and your ability to really take off and soar in your life is super connected to how rooted you are. And so right now it's saying the hidden one, because it is literally asking you to go into hiding right now and to go into a cocoon and take some time for some like really good solid self-care. And it might feel like, you know, you can't quite do that right now because it feels like there's lots going on, but she's saying that like, no, you have to do this right now, because if you take that time to really sink in and root, you're going to be all that much powerful. You are most powerful when you are rooted, when you have your feet planted in the ground and those roots reaching deep into the earth. So take some time for some self-care, take some time to cocoon and get away from it all and ground. All right, Annalisa, here we go. Annalisa. Ooh, Lady of the Forest. I love her. All right, Lady of the Forest. Let me go ahead and, did I just turn off the, oh no. You guys, I think I just turned off the camera. I did. Okay. Let's see. Technology. I don't know how to fix it. Okay, I have my husband Zeph running up here to help me because he's awesome and he's really good at tech, and this stresses me out. So I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the card. Annalisa, this is the Lady of the Forest, and when you have a look at her, she's got her eyes closed, and it almost feels like she is hugging the forest. And the Lady of the Forest is all about dreaming and sinking into the big vision of what you have for your life. And she is about abundance, about flow. She is the feminine receptive energy. Thank you so much, Zeph. Yay for Zeph, everybody. You're so awesome. I love you. She is that feminine, receptive, soft energy. And so Lady of the Forest is asking you to sink into that space of allowing yourself to dream, allowing yourself to feel, allowing your intuition to awaken, and really trusting that by opening yourself up in that really soft and gentle way, you're going to be able to receive the big vision for what you're looking for in your life and for where you're headed in life. This is a really positive card, but it's asking you not to push Again, she has her eyes closed. It's full trust. She is in full trust that everything is coming her way, and she is living in the dream, living in the vision. So live in that dream, live in that vision. Don't force, don't push. Fall back into that feminine space and just know and trust that you are, there we go, oops, that it's all happening for you. All right, I'm trying to make a double. Oh, there we go. Okay, who's next? I got Blair, I got Kate, I got Annalisa, Margaret Ann, here we go. Ooh, here we go. The captive man. Margaret Ann, whenever the captive man shows up, it's basically asking you to look at where in your life there are illusions in front of you and there are traps. Now, I don't mean this in a negative way. What it really, like, so I know how that sounds, but let me explain. It's basically saying that it's true for all of us. We all have these places in our lives where it's like there's blind spots and something looks one way, or we built it up to be a certain way, but then it's off. There's like some part of ourselves that knows it's not in alignment. We can feel that even though it might look really good, it's not. And so like when the captive man shows up, it's like some part of you feels confined or knows there's like what's that word, cognitive dissonance. It's like your soul can feel where it wants to go, it can feel the truth, but there is some force outside of you, a structure that's been built and been put in place to keep you in this spot, but it's actually keeping you smaller. And so when the captive man shows up, it's basically saying, okay, it's time to have a real honest look at where in your life there are illusions. Where in your life is there an untruth or a dishonesty or a place of inauthenticity? Maybe it's a job that doesn't fit anymore. Maybe it's a relationship that's not working anymore. You feel it, you know it. Your soul is pushing you. You probably have this feeling kind of in your heart, but here in the head space, it's saying, no, everything's fine. But here in the heart space, you're going, this isn't right. Trust this, trust the heart. Free that captive man so that you can really step forward and move forward in your life. So again, listen to that intuition, listen to your heart, and be willing to see through the illusion. All right. Who's next? Kristen. Hi, Kristen. It's good to see you too. All right, Laura. I'll show this. Life has been challenging the past year, feeling connected to much of it. Okay. All right, Laura, let's have a look and see what they have to say for you. That's how I clear the cards, by the way, as I blow on them, guys. So, in case you're wondering. Lady of Unicorns, miracles. Miracles, miracles, miracles. Whenever the Lady of Unicorns shows up, she is showing up to basically say that there are miracles on the horizon for you. And so I'm not asking you to believe anything. That's what's awesome about the Lady of Miracles, is that when she steps in, she's able to really pierce through all of the crap that's going on and help you to see, to remember magic again, to feel magic again. But all of the thinking and trying and like trying to figure it out and trying to connect, that's not going to work for you right now. Baby girl, you need a miracle. And don't worry, because a miracle is on its way. I actually feel for you, Laura, like I want a deeper reading, because I feel like there's actually a lot I'm hearing, like there's a lot of stuff coming through for you, which I don't have time right now to get into. But I will say that there is a miracle headed your way. be on the lookout for that. I want to pull another card for you just to get a little more clarity, okay? Well, that was a failed a failed shuffle. Let me do that one again. You guys, I'm terrible at shuffling cards, by the way. Okay. Oh, God, I love this card. This has got to be one of my favorite cards, and it's so perfect for you. All right, so the next card that I drew was the Hope. So whenever I draw this card, I always say, have a look at what's happening in the card. When you look at this beautiful little fairy creature, she is closed in, she has her head down, she is hugging herself. She feels like she is in the midst of despair. She feels isolated and alone. And yet, right up here in the corner is this bright spark of light. That is the hope. That is the miracle. That is the shift. That is the opening. And all it takes is for just that subtle lift of the head for her to see it. And so right now, the card is basically saying that that light is right there. It's never left you. It's always been right there. It's just a shift in perspective. But again, going back to Lady of Unicorns, because of how this year has been for you, it's not going to come from a cerebral place, and it's not going to come from a place of trying and pushing. It's going to come from a place of allowing. And here again, we've got the eyes closed. And whenever I see the eyes closed in a reading, it tells me that it is the receptive in the inner space, right? It's not about action and going and doing. Not like the Magician card we pulled in the very first card where she's very active. This is the opposite. It's saying, no, be right where you are. Don't push, don't force. Just let yourself be there, because nothing is going to get you out of there until that shift happens, and it's coming, it's on its way. And when it does come, you're going to be able to lift that beautiful head of yours up, and you're going to see that opening, and you're going to see that light. So I promise you, change is coming for you. It is coming. Just have faith. Mwah. I love you, sweetie. Okay, here we go. You're welcome, Kate. I'm glad that you're enjoying this. You're welcome, Blair. You're welcome, Annalisa. You're welcome, Margaret Ann. All right, let's go, Kristen. Let's pull a card for you, my dear, and see what the cards have to say. Ooh, the Lady of Joy. All right, my dear, it is a time for a celebration. Sorry, I said it so dorkily. That's a saying that I say with my husband when we're really excited. We say, time for a celebration. So it came out like that. I'm a dork. I warned you ahead of time. But yes, here we've got the Lady of Joy. And what the Lady of Joy is saying is like, girl, it is springtime. It is time to put on your dancing shoes, put on a summer dress, get out in the sun and celebrate. You probably, like all of us, have been through a lot this year, and there's been a lot of crazy energy, and you are in this place of like the celebratory energy, this joyful space, and the card is just asking you to be grateful for it and to fully accept it. It's like this is a time where you can open yourself up to gratitude, and by opening yourself up to that grateful gratitude space, you are going to experience lots of gifts coming your way. So the way into that energy is celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. This is, again, it's a card about like dancing, flying, eating yummy food, hanging out with friends, whatever it is that you do to celebrate. Go and enjoy life, like really dive into life and just take it all in, because this is your time. Mwah. Laura Messick, mwah, I'm so glad that was able to help you. All right, Shannon, let us pull you a card. Kristen says, I love gifts. Good, because there's going to be gifts galore coming your way. Oh my goodness. All right. So, hi, Shannon. Going from the Lady of Joy, now we are moving into the Lady of Sorrows, which is kind of the other end of the spectrum. But here's what I want to say about Lady of Sorrows. When you look at this card, don't think about it as like, oh my God, the world is ending, everything's horrible. Please. What the Lady of Sorrows is saying is that there is some kind of grieving that's happening or that you haven't fully resolved. So maybe there's an area of your life, something that you let go of recently, whether it's a relationship or a job or something like that, but something that was released and you are still in that grieving process. And she's saying that's okay, that that's actually where you're supposed to be. And if you don't necessarily know what that is, that's also okay. She is basically here to say that feeling of incompletion or things aren't quite right, that tinge of sadness that's there in your life right now is perfectly fine. In the show, I was talking about, witchcraft, and one of the things I love about it on this path is that we embrace the dark and the light, and that these emotions, the emotions of sorrow, the emotions of grief, the emotions of sadness are gifts. They have something to teach us. And so it's basically saying, process whatever it is that you're feeling and don't run from it, because on the other side of processing that is growth. So that is that. I do want to pull another card for you just because I feel like it could be really good. Let's go ahead and pull you another one. Okay, Shannon, let's pull one more. Okay, well, we have a turn of events here. The joy of the future. Let me just get that in the right spot so you can see it. Joy of the future. All right, so here's the thing. Like, you're going through, or you're going to go through this grieving process, this feeling of sorrow, this feeling of sadness. But like I said, on the other side of that is growth. And with that growth, we've got the joy of the future. Now, when I look at this card, I see a lot of energy. There's this cute little fairy on top of a toadstool holding eggs in their hands. And those eggs are actually a symbol of gifts that are coming your way. She's surrounded, or he, I don't know. I think they're gender neutral. Not sure about this one, but they are surrounded by all of these other fairy energies, and all of them are laughing. They've got smiles. It's talking about a really social time, a time of friends and community gathering around you. So this is a nice shift coming out of Lady of Sorrow. So basically it's saying, go ahead and feel your feelings. Feel them, like get in there and feel them. If you got to have a good cry, cry. Like let those feelings come through. And once you process that, then you step into the joy of the future, the community, the gifts, the friendships, and really like a lot of social energy here. So that is a really good sign. All right, who do we have? You guys, I can actually pull one more and then I need to stop. Okay. I'm a sucker. I'm going to pull one quickly for Connie and one quickly for RHC Patty. So I'm going to sneak you both in there. Like I said, if you did not get pulled tonight, please visit me next week and I will pull next week as well. All right, really quick. This is a fast reading. Here we go. We got Connie. Connie, the messenger. All right, my dear, there is a message coming your way. This is generally a message of good news, but basically perk up your ears and listen because there is some really important message coming your way. I said one card, I'm going to pull a second one because this one always wants a second. My dear, it is the crone. It is a wise older energy that is coming through. So there is a message that is asking you to drop into this wise part of your soul. And I'm not sure what the message is yet. That would require more reading. But basically, be on the listen, be on the lookout for that really, again, it could be that it is an older person coming your way to give you this message. But what I'm really getting from this is that it is a wisdom that's coming through for you. It is a wisdom that's unfolding for you that you are that you are receiving. So open up and receive that. Okay, and RHC Patty. Fairy of Youth. You guys, I love this. I just got the crone and then we moved to Fairy of Youth. Total opposites. Fairy of Youth. All right, RHC crone. Crone. RHC Patty. Fairy of Youth is all about play. It's all about play. It's basically saying, get out there in the world and play and really step into that inner child. In fact, I'm actually hearing inner child work. So I don't know if that means something to you, but I think that it might be time to tap into your inner child, maybe do some inner child healing work. If there's some healing that has to be done, I think that there's for all of us for inner child. So, but it is that, and to really let your inner 5-6-year-old just play. And I don't know what that means for you. Maybe it's coloring, maybe it's crafts, maybe it's running through a forest barefoot, maybe it's singing, maybe it is baking cookies and getting your fingers all gooey in the dough and then licking them. I don't know what that is for you, but this is a time for you to get into that playful energy. Whew. Okay, friends. That is it for the card reading, because as I promised, I have a giveaway for you guys. I am so excited about this. This might be one of the best giveaways I have ever given. Because it is the first show, I wanted to really kick it off with a bang. So I mentioned on Monday during the interview with Psychic Fixes that I am running a fairy course starting in April. This course is called Waking Fae, and it is a month-long course where basically we are going to discover how to connect with fairies and how to really understand our own energy and how we personally connect with the Fae. And it has meditations in an online private Facebook group where you will be going through the course with colleagues of yours and you can get support from each other. And then I will also be doing live feeds a couple of times a week to get with you and talk with you. It is all virtual, but it is going to be amazing. I am so excited about this course. This course is $125, and tonight, I am going to give it away. There is one caveat. I'm giving it away to somebody who has never taken a course from me before, because I want to give the opportunity for new people who are just kind of learning about what I do to have the chance to dive in and experience it. So if you have never had a course from me before, but you are interested, let me know, and I am going to write down your name, put it in the magic cauldron, and whoa. So let's see who the winner is going to be. All right. If you are interested, there's actually a lot of people on here. I'm just going to go down the list. Okay. Do me a favor. If you're interested, I'm seeing people already do this, that saying I am interested. Say I am interested and I will enter your name. So I've got right now Laura Magick. Connie MacDonald. And remember, this is for people who have not taken a course from me before. RHC Patty. I'm guessing your first name isn't RHC. I'm going to put it down like that for now. But yeah, let me know what your real name is eventually, so that I'm not just calling you that. Okay, Shannon, we're putting you in. Shannon Sibley. I am so sorry, Blair, you've taken courses, so I can't give you this one. I love you, Blair. I'm sorry. Annalisa. Kate, Katrina. Patty. Okay, I figured it was Patty, and not RHC Patty, but it was a churcher, so you never know. You never know. People have all kinds of interesting names. All right, last call. Did I miss anybody? I'm going to shout out the names. If I missed you and you want to enter, let me know. So I've got Kate, Katrina, putting you in the cauldron. Connie McDonald. Patty, not RHC Patty. And Annalisa. Shannon Sibley. Laura Messick. All right, everybody, put your energy in the pot. Get ready to manifest. I need some, like, manifesting music. All right, here we go. Are you ready? And here we go. Kristen. Oh, I have you down as Kate Katrina Kristen. So you are in there. You're just in there as Kate Christina. Okay. Here we go. And I got Shannon Sibley. You are our magical winner, my dear. So Shannon, do me a favor. Reach out to me. Reach out to me, or you can reach out to us through Psychic Fixes and just shoot us a message. Let us know that you won the fairy course. And then I will connect with you and get all of your information to make sure that you are enrolled. I am so excited for you to join us on this journey. It's going to be fabulous. All righty. It is 8:56, you guys. My gosh, that time just flew. Mwah! I am so grateful for all of you for joining me on my first show. This was a lot of fun. I love this work. I love the work that I do. If you are interested and you want to take the fairy course but did not win the prize, please hop over to my website. It's called houseofwildling.com. And I'm going to actually post it in the comments right now. But over at House of Wildling, you go to the courses section and you can sign up for the Fae course there. I just posted it there. Oh, Psychic Fixes did as well. Thank you. Donna Marie, I am done for the night. I'm sorry. But if you come back next week, I will be giving more readings next week. And of course, as always on Psychic Fixes, there are a ton of incredible readers. So pretty much almost at any hour you can hop on and get a reading. But I am done for today. And let's see. Oh, Kristen Gandy. Ah, Kristen Gandy. I see what happened there. Okay, Kristen Gandy, here's what I'm going to do for you. I am going to please shoot us a message over at Psychic Fixes, and then I am going to give you a free consultation. And basically what that looks like is we're going to kind of like talk about what is going on in Miss Kristen's world. I will pull some cards for you and kind of get an overview and help kind of give you a little bit of spiritual guidance in a direction. So if that is something you're interested in, just because I forgot to put your name in the pot, please hop over to Psychic Fixes and shoot us a message, and then we can set that up and we can have a little one-on-one time. Sorry about that. Sorry I missed you. Okay. Anyway, you guys, if you enjoyed today, please tune in next week. Again, like, I can't do this without you, and this was a lot of fun. I also want to say that if you have any questions about witchcraft or anything spiritual or magical, please shoot me your questions. I will answer them in the next show. And if you know anybody who is on the witchy spectrum or interested in becoming a witch, please let them know about this show. Next week, I'm going to dive a little more into the craft. This week, I wanted to just kind of take some time to get to know you all and get a feel of the show and give some giveaways. But next week, like I said, I will dive a little deeper into the craft. And again, I will do more readings next week. And if there is time, I will also lead you through a beautiful meditation. So I had a lot of fun. You all are amazing. Thank you for being here. And it is 8:59. I am going to sign off. Have a beautiful night. Stay blessed and stay witchy. Mwah.